Welcome to ePathshala. I am Dr. Khushbu Mahajan and I am working as a UGC Postdoctoral Research Fellow in the Department of Political Science, Punjab University, and I am also teaching in the Department or Institute of Social Sciences in the same university. Today we are going to discuss about political parties in India. Political parties are the fourth pillar of democracy. And in any indirect or we can say representative form of democracy, the presence of political parties is must, and they act as a bridge between the state and the center. Actually, they help in a two-way communication between the state and the citizens. The political parties help in interest articulation and interest aggregation, or they take the views of the masses and they give this opinion to the government that what the masses are requiring and what are their needs, and according to their needs the results and the decisions are taken by the government. Thus this is a two-way communication process. For this purpose the political parties do their work, and political parties have their different typologies which we will discuss in this lecture, as well as what are the political parties in India, which are the national political parties and which are the state political parties. There are only 7 national political parties at present in India and many state political parties, and the criteria for selecting national as well as state political parties is decided by Election Commission of India. We'll discuss the views of various thinkers, especially Duverger's views about the types of political parties, and moreover we will discuss about different political parties in India at the national level as well as at the state level. Objectives: to discuss the political parties and Duverger's model of its origin and structure, to describe the different parameters of Election Commission of India to determine national or state parties, and to discuss various electoral parties reforms suggested by various commissions and organizations. Political parties, a theoretical analysis. Political parties are considered as intermediate organization between state and citizens. In any democratic states, if that is not direct democracy, presence of political parties are almost compulsory. They are carrying the weight of expectations and aspiration upward from citizens to the state, and burden of the policy downwards from state to the citizens. In the process, they perform multiple functions and develop multiple personalities. They are central to both society and the government in the sense that they connect bridges to create two-way communication process between them. Being the primary lubricants and moving forces of governmental process, they are central also to the modern political system. In one way or the other, all form of the governments in all societies have turned to the political parties and have maintained them as an essential institution of political system. Thinkers like Edmund Burke, Benjamin Constant and others conceived the parties as an ideological group. According to this school, the members of the parties entertain a set of common basic conviction about public interest and are ready to act in concert in pursuit of these ideals. According to Burke, a party is a body of men for promoting by their joint endeavors and national interests upon some particular principle in which they all are agreed. At their origin, parties were regarded with some suspicion because of their long association with factions, which were considered an evil. Parties gradually acquired legitimacy as an instrument of government in the 19th century. So Burke argues that parties started in the form of factions, but in the process it acquired an ideological role by attributing a highly ideological orientation. Later on, this doctrine has been challenged. Duverger argues that two socialist parties react in very different ways and find it difficult to collaborate. The fate of the socialist and communist parties, which are more ideologically based than others, may be cited here. Moreover, he argues often geographical proximity or the desire to defend one's profession and interests lead to the formation of political parties. Organizational structure and functions of the parties. Duverger said a party is a community with a particular structure. He also states that a party is not a community but a collection of communities, a union of small groups dispersed through the country and linked by coordinating institutions. On the basis of basic elements and functions of the parties, Duverger discussed four kinds of parties: caucus, branch, cell and militia. Caucus is known for its limited nature. It contains limited and small number of members and do not seek any expansion. It is basically a closed group. New membership can be achieved only by a kind of tacit co-option or by formal nomination. It is also notable that their members are chosen because of their quality and influence. It functions in large geographical area, but their activity is basically seasonal. It reaches its peak at election times and is considerably reduced in the intervals between ballots. In short, the caucus is semi-permanent by nature. The branch is less decentralized than the caucus. The caucus is restricted in nature, but the branch is extensive and tries to enroll members, to multiply their numbers and to increase its total strength. It does not desire quality, but quantity is the most important of consideration. The branch is wide open. The branch appeals to the masses and tries to keep in touch with them. This is because its geographical basis remains less extensive than that of the caucus. It is semi-permanent in nature and its activity is obviously very important at election times, but it continues to be active in intervals between ballots. The branch is basically a socialist invention. The cell has an occupational basis. It unites all the party members who work at the same place. This may be factory, workshop, shop, office and administration cells. To the contrary, branch and caucus have their geographical bases. The branch has its local geographical base and the caucus has its wider geographical spread. The cell is a much smaller group than the branch. Even the cell membership never reaches 100. There are cells of between 15 and 20 members which achieve 3 times as much work as cells with 50 or 60 members. This is absolutely permanent in nature. Since its party members meet daily in their work, this also may exclude the purely political questions and functions like a trade union. As the branches were a socialist invention, cells are a communist invention. Particularly, they are an invention of Russian Communist Party and were adopted by all communist parties across the world by the Third International in its resolution of 21st January 1924. The militia is a kind of private army. Members are enrolled on military lines and also get military training as well as follow the same discipline, wearing uniforms and badges, ready like military to march in step preceded by band and flags and ready to meet the enemy with weapons in physical combat. But they are basically civilians and they do not follow this organized discipline permanently. They simply meet for drill frequently. Militia is a fascist creation. Duverger also agrees with that it is also rare a party is based exclusively on one only of the 4 basic elements, except perhaps the old 19th century parties based on caucuses. While discussing about typologies of the political parties, Gunther and Diamond divided into 15 types and clustered into 5 broader genesis: elite parties, mass-based parties, ethnically based parties, electoralist parties and movement parties. The traditional elite parties are weakly organized and formed in the parliament. They mobilized support on the basis of their personal resources or through patron-client network. Second, the mass party used to be formed outside the legislature body. Industrial working class party, peasantry party, religious party, etc. come under this category. These parties are well organized and have a mass membership. And the third, ethnic-based parties consist two kinds of parties. Mono-ethnic party that used to be ethnically exclusivist. And second, multi-ethnic coalitionalist party that is coalition of several ethnic groups and identities. Indian National Congress up to mid-1960s is a good example of the latter. And the fourth is electoral parties are maybe personality based, programmatic or catch-all parties. Personalistic political parties are basically to fulfill the desires of their top leaders, and programmatic parties are basically program oriented, whereas on the other hand catch-all parties are election oriented and they are not bounded with any class or very particular ethnic group. Those parties which evolved from social or political movements come under the movement party. Green Party in Germany, Canada, Australia and in other countries are good examples for this. In Indian freedom struggle, Indian National Congress emerged as a movement party. If we try to say Indian parties under typological classification, we may find that some parties are in several categories and some parties are not fit in any one of them, but may be partially included in 3 or 4 categories. The Indian National Congress or the Congress Party begins with the tendency of the movement party. Later on, it became the mass party. After independence, it lost its character of a movement party, and in mid-1960s, it also started losing the features of a mass party. Moreover, while it also emerged as a catch-all party and tried to elicit votes from all the classes and ethnic sections of the society, the BJP seems to display the tendency of religious traditionalist ethnic parties but does not fit in any one of them. Left parties are ideologically class-related, mass-based parties, but they have become practically election-oriented parties. Several regional political parties like Dravid Munnetra Kazhagam, that is DMK, All India Dravid Munnetra Kazhagam, AIADMK, Shiromani Akali Dal SAD, Telugu Desam Party TDP, Assam Gan Parishad AGP, etc. can be considered as linguistic-based and ethnicity-based political parties. The parties considered as Janta family parties particularly are the fragments of Janata Dal and may be considered as mass parties, but at least some of them are also personality-based parties. So we may say that India's political parties or India's party politics does not fit completely in any of the theories discussing the typologies, functions and structures of political parties in the West, especially Europe. Emergence of political parties in India. The emergence of older political parties in India can be seen in the crucible of freedom struggle. In late 19th century, there were several organizations which were struggling for socio-economic welfare of the society. Indian National Congress is the first institutionalized political party in India, formed in December 1885, only 3 decades after the founding of Republican Party in USA, and in the same decade in which British Labour Party was organized. Kochenek divided the development of Congress in 4 phases. He said first the period of moderates from 1885 to 1900, and second is the period of extremists from 1900 to 1920, and third is the Gandhian period from 1920 to 1946, and in the fourth period, post-independence period from 1946 to the present. Now we may also delineate 4 phases. First one is Congress as a dominant party from 1946 to 1967. Second, as the decline of Congress in some states from 1967 to 71. And third is re-emergence of Congress under Indira regime with her slogan of Garibi Hatao from 1971 to 1977. And fourth is decline of Congress at the central government due to anti-Congress and anti-emergency Janata Party's emergence from 1977 to 1980. And fifth is the re-emergence of Congress under Indira and Rajiv regime from 1980 to 1989. And sixth is decline of Congress in the new developed multi-party system at the central level from 1989 to 1998. The seventh is the development of the Congress as one node in emerging binodal party system, that is the Congress-led UPA regime, that is United Progressive Alliance, and the BJP-led NDA, that is National Democratic Alliance, from 1998 to the present. Before independence, Congress was basically a movement party, and with the movement of freedom struggle, the Congress reached to the masses. Earlier, it was only limited among the elites. Several other political parties also emerged either within the Congress or outside the Congress. Swaraj Party of 1923, Congress Socialist Party of 1934 were the two important fronts within the Congress. Classification of political parties in India. According to Election Commission report on 15th Lok Sabha elections held in 2009, a total of 363 political parties participated in elections. 7 of them were classified as national political parties and 34 as state or regional political parties, and the rest 322 are merely called registered unrecognized parties according to Election Commission of India in 2009. The second basis of the classification of major Indian parties may be pragmatic or ideological spectrum ranging from right through the center to the left. National and regional parties. When we classify political parties as national, state or registered, we follow a criteria fixed by Election Commission of India. Though it is a subject to change after each election, so the present criteria should be discussed here. At present, according to the Election Commission of India, a political party shall be eligible to be recognized as national party if candidates of the party scored not less than 6% of valid votes in any 4 or more states in last Lok Sabha or state legislative assembly elections, and in addition it has secured at least 4 seats in Lok Sabha from any state or states. At the last general election to the Lok Sabha, the party has won at least 2% of total number of seats in Lok Sabha, any fraction exceeding half being counted as 1, and the party's candidates have been elected to the Lok Sabha from not less than 3 states. The party fulfills the criteria to be recognized as a state party. It at least at last general elections to the state assembly of the party have secured not less than 6% of the total valid votes polled in the state, and in addition the party has secured at least 2 seats in the state legislative assembly. Or at the last general elections to the Lok Sabha, the candidates of the party have secured not less than 6% of total valid votes polled in the state, and in addition the party has secured at least 1 seat to the Lok Sabha from that state. Or at the last general election to the Lok Sabha, in that particular state, the party has secured at least 1 seat for every 25 seats or any fraction thereof allotted to that state. There were only 7 national parties that entered the electoral process to the 15th Lok Sabha in 2009. Indian National Congress, BJP, BSP, that is Bahujan Samaj Party, CPI, Communist Party of India, CPIM, that is Communist Party of India Marxist, Nationalist Congress Party NCP, and Rashtriya Janata Dal RJD. One of these, RJD, lost its status as a national party subsequent to its performance in 2009 general elections to the Lok Sabha, and it could not maintain its performance which could fulfill the criteria to be recognized as a national party. In addition, no new party could qualify to become national party in that election. Even till now, no other party among state or registered parties could fulfill that criteria to be recognized as national party. According to Election Commission criteria for classification, there are 41 state parties in several states across India. But if we classify them according to their role and presence in the state as well as center, there are only 13 important state parties. Ideological spectrum of political parties. The cynical view of Indian politics is that ideology has no place in it. It is supposed to be motivated largely by the issueless factionalism and opportunism. Yet, this view doesn't fit well with the fact that political parties spend so much on manifestos and other public material and on campaigning, which is publicly couched in programmatic terms. The reality obviously lies somewhere in between. Indian politics is perhaps neither entirely doctrinaire nor entirely pragmatic. It is also possible to characterize Indian parties, although demarcations are often blurred, especially in more recent times, on the account of major shifts in the area of economic policies. Only 3 political parties appear as subscribing to the right wing: the Hindu right BJP, the Sikh right Shromani Akali Dal, the Hindu right Maharashtrian Mumbai nationalist Shiv Sena there, and among these only BJP has a wider national presence. The SAD is mainly confined to Punjab, and Shiv Sena, which started as a nativist Mumbai party, now has a wider following but mainly in Maharashtra. Only 4 parties appear as parties of the left wing: CPIM, CPI Forward Bloc, and Revolutionary Socialist Party of India, that is RPI. The first 2 of these are mainly concentrated in West Bengal, Kerala and Tripura, and the last 2 in West Bengal only. A bulk of political parties are centrist oriented. This may be explained as a result of powerful pull towards middle of the road liberal progressivism and democratic populism, engendered by the anti-colonial nationalist movement in the first half of the 20th century and persistent centrism of the electoral politics following the independence in 1947. Deinstitutionalization and decay of the parties. In India, most of the parties are leader-centered, whether these parties are national or regional. Such leaders are charismatic personalities in their respective sphere of influence. The Congress has practiced this unity of command system from a long time, and other parties are following it. And some parties are far ahead of Congress in this trait. Political parties in the parliamentary democratic system of India are mostly non-democratic, and the politicians are encouraging their sons, their relatives to join their party, and also provided higher posts in the party and the government. To some extent, BJP and the Communist parties are exception to this trend. But authoritarian control of BJP by RSS and the democratic centralism in Communist parties are the features to be noted. On the question of why are the parties becoming family-centered, K.C. Suri believes that to manage huge fund, especially election expenditure, and the mindset of the party chief that they treat their party as their personal property are the major reasons behind the emergence of family-centered party system in India. The role of unaccounted money in elections has become a serious problem, and the political parties collect funds from companies, corporate houses, and then use this money to influence the voters to vote in their favor. Reports of money and liquor being distributed in poor areas are frequent during the elections. Even to get party ticket from the party, several candidates are supposed to make donations to the party fund or to some higher leader for this support to get candidature of the party. A notable shift in political parties and party system has emerged. Decline of the Congress as a pan-India national party, noticeable emergence of BJP, and emergence of multi-party system at the national level government have also been noticed. In this changing nature of political system, number of political parties increased rapidly. The number of parties contesting elections in India has varied from 36 in 1980 to 209 in 1996, 176 in 1998 and 169 in 1999. The Election Commission of India revised this classification to identify the political parties as national and the state parties, and Election Commission under T.N. Seshan and his successors brought several changes to regulate and conduct the free and fair elections, to minimize criminalization, money power, intervention of business in elections. It tried to ensure internal democracy and transparency of accounts in political parties. And over the past decades, a number of parliamentary and constitutional committees have been proposing packages of electoral and party reforms. A Law Commission report in 1999 proposed a comprehensive package of reforms in our electoral and party system. However, the most comprehensive package of reforms have been proposed by National Commission to Review of the Working of Constitution in 2002. And it proposed a comprehensive legislation regulating the formation and functioning of political parties and alliances of the parties in India. It suggested ensuring all-inclusive, democratic, constituted and functioning of political parties, maintaining publicly opened, audited, systematic accounts with all information of receipts of funds and expenditures. It also gave its suggestions to restrict the increasing number of registered parties, and NCRWC report recommends that the Election Commission should progressively increase the threshold criteria for eligibility for the recognition so that the proliferation of smaller political parties is discouraged. It also recommends that disqualifying the candidate and deregistering the party if criminal offence or criminal charge framed against one by the court. But most of these recommendations still not be implemented and exercised. Let me conclude by saying that political parties are a very important part of democracy. As I said earlier, that it's a fourth pillar of the democracy, and especially in India, as we have representative form of government, the role of political parties becomes utmost important. If we talk about the various typologies, we have come to know that the political parties in India do not fit in one category of typologies as given by Duverger or other thinkers, but still they keep on changing their types as well as with the passage of time. For example, we talk about Congress. Congress was once a movement party, then it converted into a mass party, and later on it became a catch-all party. Then we talk about BJP, it was a catch-all party. And when we talk about CPI, CPIM, these are the leftist parties. We can categorize these parties in this way. But the role of political parties is really connecting one, because they provide a two-way communication between the citizen and the states. And the role of Election Commission for registering these parties is at most important, and they sets the criteria for selecting a party as a national party as well as for the state party. Thank you.